Welcome to the finance meeting on, I almost said February 11th, 2026. And just wanted you to know that Meg McGrath Smith was unable to be here tonight, but she did give me something to read for items 8 and 9. And the one thing I would like to do before we read Meg's notes here is to have a motion to take up 8, 9, and 10 first.
Make a motion to take up 8, 9, and 10 out of order.
All those in favor?
Discussion? Aye.
Aye. Okay, so 8, I'll read 8 and 9, and then 10, and the retirement board. If you guys want to come in here, you might want to turn on your mic, but don't block that screen if you can possibly help it. Okay. Okay, item, and the mayor's here, welcome. All right, everybody else set? Item number 8 was filed on 1/20/26 from Mayor Garcia, communication regarding the Holyoke Retirement Board and PERAC. Then item 9 is also filed on 1/20/26 from Meg McGrath Smith, ordered that the Holyoke City Council consider and act on the attached resolution, joining the mayor in requesting that the Holyoke Retirement Board and the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission allow a reevaluation of the city's pension funding schedule prior to development of the FY27 budget. And item 10 was ordered by myself, Divine, that Chapter 43, Section 90A, period C, period D, period of the pension law regarding half pay be sent to the Finance Committee for discussion with the Retirement Board. So I'd like to hear a motion. We'll take all 3 of those off the table for discussion.
So moved.
Okay, and if you'll indulge me, I'll read Meg McGrath Smith's notes, because it's for item number 8 and 9. And she apologizes for not being here tonight, but she had another commitment. Let's see, it says, when you get to items 8 and 9, would you please share this with the committee? I put forward an order along with a resolution from the mayor for us to ask our local retirement board and the state retirement board, PERAC, to consider allowing Holyoke to be placed on a less aggressive schedule for fully funding our retirement system. The state's requirement is that we fully fund by 2040. We are currently on track to be fully funded by 2032. Our resolution asks for these retirement boards to work with us to create tax relief now by allowing us to decrease our annual extra payments so that we can be fully funded by 2037 instead of 2032. This responsibility creates a cushion, knowing that the market can always change and volatility is part of the investment. If agreed upon, this would allow us to decrease the tax levy by a significant amount. The target number I was looking for was $1.5 million. It is another avenue for us to pursue in order to establish tax relief. The only other way to create tax relief is through draconian cuts to fire, police, schools, or paving. We aren't talking about a few cuts here, or preventing salary raises. We're talking about firing dozens of employees. It isn't feasible without significant hardship and without causing negative ripple effects across the city as emergency and educational services struggle. I am not willing to do that. I also want to make clear that I am personally pursuing this in light of several years of tax increases. And when she speaks, I believe she's speaking as though you were writing this rather than her. Because she says, I also want to make clear that I am personally pursuing this in light of several years of tax increases, and my goal is not for this retirement schedule to be shifted in order for funding to be moved into other areas of the city budget, but used entirely for tax relief. And she apologizes for not being here tonight.
That's all her. She
Okay.
wrote that
All right.
in her own due diligence.
Okay, all right, great. All right, so. Go with Okay, so item 8, unless the mayor, if you want to say anything ahead of these?
Are they, what's item?
Okay, item 8 is from the mayor, communication regarding Holyoke Retirement Board and PERAC. And Tony, could you introduce
Yes.
who's here on Zoom, please?
Yeah, that's John Borak. He's head actuarial for PERAC, our governing board for the whole state. So
Okay.
he's in charge of a lot of cities and towns for the state.
Okay. Welcome to Holyoke.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is from you, Mayor, item 8. And I have it here. I don't know if you want to read it. I don't know if everybody's got a copy. We have copies of it, but,
If you want to.
okay. Honorable City Council, I am writing to request the City Council support in joining me in formally asking the Holyoke Retirement Board and the Public Employees Retirement Administration Commission, PERAC, to allow the reevaluation of the city's current pension funding schedule prior to the development of the FY '27 budget. Holyoke is currently scheduled for to fully fund the pension system by 2032, which is significantly earlier than the statewide funding deadline. While the aggressive approach has reduced long-term liabilities, it has also resulted in steep annual increases in required pension appropriations. These increases are occurring at the same time the city continues to face rising fixed costs, mostly notable health insurance, creating growing pressure on the operating budget and limiting the city's ability to manage annual tax impacts. Once the funding schedule is approved by PERAC, it cannot be amended without their approval. Holyoke's current schedule was only approved 2 years ago, which makes it important that the city clearly articulate why the reevaluation is warranted at this time. Given current fiscal conditions, I believe a reassessment is necessary to determine whether the existing schedule remains appropriate or sustainable. The purpose of requesting a reevaluation would be to explore a revised amortization timeline that remains responsibly and actuarially sound while reducing the sharp year-to-year growth in pension appropriations. Specifically, this would include revising the amortization period to 2037, which is 5 years longer than the existing schedule and still ahead of the state mandate of 2040. This request is not intended to avoid pension obligations, but to ensure that they can be met in a way that supports long-term fiscal stability. Timing is critical. Any revised funding schedule would need to be completed before FY '27 budget is set. Without action, the city will continue under the current schedule for another fiscal year, further compounding existing budget pressures. It is my hope that the council will act promptly so that the retirement board may take a formal vote on the request at its January meeting. A different meeting than January, I'm assuming. I respectfully ask that the city council join me in supporting a joint request of the Holyoke Retirement Board and PERAC to allow for this reevaluation. A unified request from both the mayor and city council will strengthen the city's position and demonstrate a shared commitment to responsible financial planning. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Joshua Garcia, Mayor of the City of Holyoke. So I'll make a motion that we accept the mayor's letter. All those
So
in
moved.
favor? Aye,
Aye.
okay. I think that we should probably discuss this first, unless you want to go out to them, whichever your pleasure is.
No, I wanted to know, I think when the mayor mentioned January meeting, I think it's physical 2027, right? In the letter, you said that the retirement
January.
board may take a
Yeah,
formal
we-
vote, this is January of next.
We just got it.
No, you mean to take it up for a discussion at your January meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
That,
submitted
or
this.
that ship already sailed, you're saying, right?
No, it's just, I had assumed you'd take it up sooner, but
Oh,
here we
gotcha.
are.
Oh,
All right.
okay, gotcha,
So, all right,
okay.
thank you.
So.
I just wanted to
um,
clear that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it was just sent to finance January 21st, 2026, so.
That's fine.
Okay, so does anybody want to talk about this letter? Any support for this? I certainly think it's a good idea based on what this letter says.
I'd like to ask a few questions
Of-
before we discuss
Yep.
it. So,
Yeah.
I hope I get your name right. Mr. Borak, is that
That's correct, yep.
correct? Have any other cities or towns made a similar request?
We've had requests in the past to reduce the level of appropriations for some cities and towns. As I'll discuss a little bit later, none to the extent that Holyoke is asking for.
Okay. So, I guess this would be for Tony. If there was right now, I see where we're at, but if there was a market downturn anytime in the next 6 years, right? And we had already decreased it, not only would we have to cancel that decrease, but we might have to even put in more money to get back on track to the,
Our funding schedule would change severely if there was a big downturn in the market.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Could you put
Oh.
your name and your title?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, Anthony DeLude, Director, Hoyok Retirement.
thank you.
Any downswing in the market would change our funding schedule over the course of the next few years.
okay, and even if we were fully funded by 2032, fully funded, 100% funded, if there was a market downturn after that, we would be required to start putting money in again to bring it back up to that level,
That's correct. That's correct.
all right? All right, and if I understand all this correctly, I've heard this as an aggressive approach to paying it down sooner. But the way I see it, it hasn't been an aggressive approach to paying it down sooner, but it's been through the good fortune of having one of the best performing retirement boards in the state. Mr. Borak, is that still the case? Holyoke's about one of the top 10% performers in the state?
As far as what?
What do you,
Our return every year, through our investments, what our retirement board is doing?
I don't currently have that information. I cannot answer that. I apologize.
Well, I mean, the last time I looked, we were doing better than Boston or a lot of our surrounding communities. So,
And that may be the case. I just don't have that information in front of me.
all right. But it's not through an aggressive taxpayer. We're in this position right now because of how well we've done with our investments. Is that a fair statement?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we strive for whatever our assumption is. For last year, we switched to 7%, which was a downturn. We were at 7.5 for what, maybe 7.25 for maybe 3-4 years consecutively. So we strive to make 7%, 7.25 each year. If
Yeah.
we're doing that, then we're just going to stay on schedule for our funding schedule.
Right.
So that's the main ingredient for us, is to stay on the funding schedule.
Okay, those are my questions.
Okay. Questions? No. Okay, if there's comments from Cheryl or Joe or
Or the mayor.
the mayor. The other thing, too, I want to make sure I mention that I see that Rory Casey is online, as well as Sharon Bittner, the auditor.
Yeah.
And thank Holyoke Media, and we do have an interpreter here as well. And Attorney Mike Bissonette is with us. So, Mayor, if you'd like to say something?
If
or-
anyone else wanted to go.
No, you can go.
So thank you so much, Madam Chair. I just want to be clear and that everyone understands what we're asking for. We're looking for a reevaluation, and whatever the market conditions are, I can't tell you for sure what is possible, what isn't possible. I mean, for all we know, a reevaluation can reflect a different story of a concern where we might want to stay on the current schedule. I think I think there are clear concerns. We're not talking about reducing in a way where we're trying to steer away from our responsibility to fully fund. The state has made the mandate very clear. By 2040, we're on this schedule. I think it's 2033 now, I heard, instead of 2032. I know we've been running with the 2032 number, but it might,
Yes.
Some for 2033,
2033,
that's half of it.
roughly, 7, 8 years ahead of schedule. Considering the budgetary pressures that our city has, it's $600,000 for every 0.5% decrease to taxes to the city. And so we're looking at every which way possible to try to, there's going to be increases. How do we limit the increases as much as possible? With the rise in costs with transportation, the final year of student opportunity and education costs, the rise in costs in health insurance, the pressure that we often get on the split between the city and those that are paying into the health insurance. We're trying to find creative ways that'll help us limit the impact as much as possible. And this is just one of many things that we are looking into. But what we want to do is do the reevaluation so that we could understand if whether or not there is even some potential to extend the schedule, still stay on target of fully funding, whether if it's 2033, 2038, or maybe if not sooner than 2033, if feasible. I think we have a responsibility to be responsible fiduciary agents to taxpayers who are constantly pressuring the city to make sure we're looking underneath every stone to look out for not just keeping up with their services, but their pocketbooks in this climate. And, quite frankly, I think that this is a responsible thing to do. There's two responsible things to do. One, fully funding because it's an obligation and we need to do it. But also, how do we do that within the limits we're able as far as the laws and directives are concerned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And so by evaluating this, it allows us to make an informed decision one way or another. Thank you.
Okay. Cheryl?
Yep.
Yeah, just, you'll see the green light, just
Okay.
your name and your,
Hi, I'm Cheryl Dugree. I'm the chairman of the Holyoke Retirement Board. We are doing a revaluation. We do it every 2 years. So right now, we are in the process of doing that. And what happens is the actuary presents a report and gives us different scenarios. And we sometimes ask, could you extend it a few years? Could you do this? What if we did this? So we are in the process of doing that right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if, maybe John can speak to this about whether or not before that's completed, because we will not have that until probably June.
Yeah.
And I know that's before your budget, around there. Well, anyway, we won't have it before then. I don't know if there's any recourse of changing it before then, so.
Mayor?
I think that's fantastic. I think what I want to request is that through that conversation, maybe a regular report here in front of the council to share the results of that actuary study so that we can, and I'm happy to be part of that conversation, not in my office, but here at the council in a public meeting to go over and understand the results of that study so that we can learn and understand it together. And if, again, there is an opportunity, maybe for not fiscal year 26, maybe something we can prepare for 27. There are some shifts we can do and prepare for in the middle of the fiscal year, depending on, what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do with how we go into how we deal with our budgets. But that's great, an that the reevaluation or some sort of evaluation is currently being done, and it'd be great for us to understand the results of that so that we can, not just us, but also the public can understand, you know, why their budget's going up every year. This is a big contributory factor. We're talking about a total of roughly $8 million to be on this aggressive schedule right now. And if you want to see a real savings when this is done, you know, that's $600,000 for every 0.5%. There's a great deal of, this is where the money is being tied up right now for good reason. Because, you know, obviously leaderships before us many decades ago didn't, you know, plan for this. And so we're left doing it, not just us, but cities and towns across the Commonwealth. And it's so therefore why it's mandated by the state. But again, if there are ways we can figure out how to move around within the parameters expected from us, I think, you know, I think we should explore that, and at least that way the taxpayers understand what the impacts are, the real impacts are to their budget.
And Mayor, if I'm hearing you correctly, and certainly hearing you, and that's good news, that they're reevaluating.
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
something we should table for now and have the retirement board get back to us on probably item 9? Or do we say that that's been complied with and do a new order?
I think that was the intent. This is really Councilor McGrath who really like aggressively explored, as you can see in her letter,
Right.
she even took full ownership of it, right? She tends to do that a lot, which is fine. But you know, I think that was her intent, which I obviously agreed from previous conversations. I learned a lot. My first time dealing with this, I had a very different attitude at the time, where I just kind of wanted to cut, but obviously like that would have been a real impact to the city.
Say something.
But then she kind of re-engaged this conversation, and we're just trying to find a new path within the limits of keeping up with our obligations and not hurting anybody, the city, the retirement folks who are contributing, and keeping up with our commitment to the state.
Okay. Counselor?
Okay. May I?
Yes, please.
May I speak? Okay. John Borak, I'm the actuary for the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission. As Tony had mentioned, I do work for an oversight agency. I am not the actuary for the Holyoke Retirement Board. The actuary for the Holyoke Retirement Board is Siegel Consulting. So I want to get that out there first. So any actuarial work that is done with the Retirement Board will be done through Siegel. At the end of the day, when a funding schedule is ultimately adopted, we'll review the funding schedule, make sure everything is okay. So earlier this year, one of my colleagues and I had met with Representative Duffy to discuss the funding schedule of the Holyoke Retirement Board. At that time, because we did not have any specifics about the funding schedule, just that they were looking to hopefully find some savings, it was a very, very general meeting. Now that I have a copy of the mayor's letter to the city council, I would like to address some of the concerns. First, as Cheryl had mentioned, the board is scheduled to have an actuarial evaluation performed as of January 1st, 2026. The funding schedule that was presented to me is based on a valuation that's 2 years old. So a lot has happened over the past 2 years that might represent a change in the new funding schedule to be adopted. What the new schedule will look like, I do not know. So because the board's current funding schedule extends beyond 2030, it's bound by the provisions of Chapter 32, Section 22F. The big provision in that particular section says that the appropriation in any fiscal year cannot be less than the appropriation in the prior fiscal year. So for fiscal year 26, the appropriation was $19.9 million, and the schedule calls for an appropriation of $20.7 million for fiscal year 27. Under the statute as it's currently written, the lowest we could reduce the fiscal year 27 payment would be back to the $19.9 $19.9 million level. The only way to get a schedule to have a payment less than that would be to have legislative action taken. So with that said, I know the mayor had asked to see a funding schedule that extends to fiscal year 2037. Under the proviso that the appropriation in any year can't be less than the prior fiscal year, if we were to maintain that appropriation of $19.9 million, the schedule would extend 2 years, so it would fully fund by 2034. So under the current law, that's the longest we can allow an extension of the schedule. Again, to have a schedule that extends out to 2037 would require legislative action. So unfortunately, at this time, we could not allow a schedule that extends beyond the 2034. As far as the retirement board goes, the retirement board could reconsider the fiscal 27 appropriation before the next actuarial valuation is complete. That is completely possible. But again, if they were to reconsider it, the lowest amount that they could set for a fiscal 27 appropriation would be the $19.9 million. And unfortunately for the city, I know it doesn't provide the amount of relief that they're looking for.
Quick question. When you say legislative action, is that the state?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Mayor?
Yeah, I know. I think that's. Actually, I appreciate that so much, and very informative, and kind of supports everything that we're, and just that folks know, you're $20.6 million of our annual appropriation is going to this, and to the gentleman's point, I think not reducing it lower to previous fiscal. I don't know. I think you explained something about 19 million. But then anything will require a special act of the legislation. I believe what's in front of you is a written, mark me if I'm wrong, a special act there, or a petition to the legislatures?
You see it?
Yeah.
No, not the special act?
Left my glasses in the car.
Okay, so no.
There's
Probably a
couple
step in
things.
the process, though, that he was highlighting.
There's funding schedule and appropriation by government union.
Okay. All right, so either way, I think what he just described and just outlined some steps we would have to take if we were to do. And again, this isn't an attempt to reduce any further to what, it's to limit the increases in what's happening. And I think the only way we can really understand of whether or not we're able or can we is, from what we hear, there's a reevaluation happening as we speak, and we want to understand the result of that reevaluation. And if not, I know, but is it wrong to assume that the results of the evaluation will show options? Like, if you do this, or here's what happened, you know what I mean? What would we see from a reevaluation?
If I may, I'll answer that question for the mayor. The next actuarial valuation will determine the funded status of the system as
Okay.
of January 1st, 2026. It'll determine a new unfunded actuarial liability and a new funded ratio. And based on the results of that, a new funding schedule will be determined. Again, unfortunately, in the absence of any legislative action, the next funding schedule that's developed is still limited by an appropriation for fiscal year 27 that can't be less than the $19.9 million that was appropriated for fiscal year 26.
Okay, I think this is great, perfect. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I think tabling would be probably the most appropriate at this time.
Okay, would that be tabling item 9, which is the one that Meg McGrath-Smith ordered? The other one is just your communication. I'm going to table both of them if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's together table. I think this was very informative, what we're hearing from the gentleman, and I think it's worth just waiting for the reevaluation and then also just regrouping as a team and taking in what was just shared with us.
Okay, so is that we can table this pretty easily. How would we you know, will
As
you,
soon as the funding schedule's done for
Okay.
us,
should
it
I?
would be shared with, I'll let the mayor know.
Okay,
And I'll let the, its finance chair know
Yeah.
that this is what we have.
okay, that's good, and then we can bring you back, guys back in here again.
Okay.
Okay, so, yes, go ahead, Nicole.
When was it gonna be completed?
Okay, you got it,
Well,
yep.
When was it gonna be
June.
completed by? Your best?
Probably,
June.
yeah, May, June, July. We have a meeting with Siegel on our next board meeting to discuss, you know, actions. They've got all their information. We have to finish our annual statement and then give them the annual statement, and then they'll go forward with the actuarial, Siegel actuarial.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mike, do you have another question or anything? I was gonna just make a
No,
motion to table.
Yeah,
Okay.
make a motion to table item 9.
8 and 9, I think we'll do, because the mayor's letter is 8.
Well, 8 we've received. so.
Okay. All right, then we'll do item 9. Okay. So the motion is to table item 9 until we, at such time that the retirement board
Get the actuarial.
contacts the mayor, who contacts the finance chair. All those in favor? Aye.
All right,
Aye. So moved, and we'll get Juan when he gets back. We just have one more thing for you, for the retirement board. Item number 10, ordered by Divine, that Chapter 43, Section 90, A, C, D of the pension law regarding half-pay be sent to the Finance Committee for discussion with the retirement board. Make a motion, we take that off the table for discussion.
so moved.
And Counselor Anderson Burgos, we did table item 9, if you wanted to vote on that. We voted in favor of tabling
Yeah,
item 9.
tabling stuff.
Okay, just to get it on the
Yeah,
record. Okay, so, who wants to start?
I don't know, John, you want to chime in on some half-pay stuff?
We have people in the audience that are interested as well.
Okay, I mean, I can't offer much in the way of providing a Section 90A or 90C increase for eligible retirees. All I can say is that if the city does go forward with approving increases under Section 90A and/or Section 90C, the result will be an increase in liability for the retirement system. At this time, the amount of the increase in liability can't be known because, one, we don't know how many people would be affected by it. Two, we don't know how much their benefits would increase. So just keep in mind that, yes, if this were to pass and benefits were to be increased under either Section 90A or Section 90C, there would be a resulting increase in unfunded liability for the retirement system. We just don't know how much it would be.
Okay. Would you mind, just for Nicole's sake, if you don't mind, explaining what half-pay is? So you don't, unless you know. Okay. John, if you could explain that, or Tony, somebody explain the half-pay?
Sure. Under Section 90A or 90C, I don't know who the eligible retirees are. I believe one is for superannuation retirees who have 20 or 25 years of service. The second one, I believe, is for accidental disability retirees. What the section would allow is the benefits for eligible retirees would be increased to no more than half of the pay of the current position. So, for example, if you had the head of the DPW retire, his current pension benefit is $50,000. If the current pay for the head of the DPW is $120,000, the benefit, the pension benefit, would increase from $50,000 to up to $60,000. So that's essentially how both of those sections work.
Okay. And how would this be brought about? Who would be the one to, say, apply for it? Okay, Tony,
Yeah,
you
if,
got your mic on?
if you were if it was passed, then we would have to do a ton. The last time we did it, there was 378 total number of eligible retirees. 156 received an increase, and 73 were eligible ADR for retirees. So it's more like for someone who retires to me and maybe didn't go their full 80%, and now their salary in that same position has gone up and up and up over the years. So, I mean, there is some good in a half pay, but there is also some bad in a half pay, because they never really contributed to have that increase. So the retirement system would have to take on that increase by itself. And
I think
then,
also, it is, it's not something that is built into our funding schedule.
Schedule.
So every year, every time we do evaluation, that has to come into it. It's not part of the benefit.
Okay.
It's outside it. And so
it would affect the following schedule.
yeah, definitely, definitely. For
would
the rest.
increase
Now,
it.
speaking of, if you want to know some effects, do you all have the funding schedule, this one?
Yeah.
If you look at each year, the schedule says employer normal cost, amortization of the 2002 ERI liability, the 2003 one. These are all enhancements outside the actual schedule. And when we started doing these valuations, I had our actuaries split it out so we could see that part of the appropriation for the year includes this big bunch of unfunded liability, but within that, it's also for enhancements. So, for example, the fiscal 2006, 2007 liability for half pay was almost $139,000 of the appropriation payment is paying for that benefit back from 2006. We haven't done it since 2008, and it looks like, just looking at it, it doesn't look like we had as many people that it affected. So it's very expensive.
And is it the retirement board that would bring this up at a
No,
meeting? or
if you would like to, it's the city council that approves it, and if you would like to look into it, then you would request Tony to do the analysis.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
a lot of work.
What do you say?
No, lot of work.
A lot of work. I'm not saying that it's.
No, it is, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point, if you
Yeah.
know.
Mike?
Yeah. Tony, you said the last time we did this, there was 300 some odd employees affected?
Yeah,
Well, that were eligible.
That
They're
were
not
eligible.
always going to be,
Yeah, it's,
you know, some of them are above the 50%, so they're.
if
The
they're
other
above the
thing is that
50%.
the law talks about you're comparing it to the position. Some positions are no longer. So if you've got somebody with 25 years of service and their position is gone, like, for example, a cafeteria worker, we don't have them anymore.
There's nothing to judge it against
Right.
anymore.
So it's a contract of a
That
private?
wouldn't be, it wouldn't apply.
Right.
So, I mean,
It can be
So-
done. I
so-
mean, the analysis is just, it
Yeah.
take a bit.
So do we know roughly how many people would be affected?
Now?
And
right now,
I
no,
don't think so.
No?
No.
not off the top of my head. I haven't figured, I mean, I mean, the way salaries go, there could be some people that are eligible for it, but
well, I mean, some people, to me, is 6.
I would
Are we talking
think,
three- are we
I would
talking
think it's
300
gonna be
again?
more- I would think it's gonna be more than 6, for sure.
Yeah.
You're talking probably at least 50, I would say, off the top of my head. You know,
But we're not talking 300.
No, but there may be
they-
300 people eligible,
eligible.
but not necessarily at the salary level that's below 50% from the
Got
position
it.
from which
Got
they
it. All
retire.
right.
Okay. And is this something that, how would this work? Would we file an order? Would we say, go ahead and do it, or just ask you to do it in your spare
You
time?
could file an order, that would be fine.
So we'll file an order that you look into how many people would be eligible, how much it would cost, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, how much it would cost, but the actuaries would have to figure out what the liability was. We couldn't tell you that.
Okay. Okay, so we can file an order to have you look into that and what the expense would be, the whole whole bit. I'll talk to
Yeah.
you and you can give me,
Any information we have, we'll send to the actuarial, and then the liability part will be,
okay,
part of what we're trying to reduce right now.
okay. And yes, exactly, it's like a
It's
catch-22.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to reduce some, but now we're gonna add more
Right,
to it. So
Right, okay.
that's totally up to you guys.
Okay, well, I'd certainly like to at least file an order. I'll talk to you about what the correct wording will be.
Okay.
And then that way we have a little more facts on our side. And again, it is certainly a catch-22. What we're trying to do in that first order was to reduce our payment.
Liability, yeah.
This would add to it for certain, so, what's the pleasure of the board? To
What?
table it, to
I
say it
would,
was complied with?
I would say it's been complied with. We've got the information, and we'll be filing a new order.
Is that a
We'll file a
motion?
new order. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so,
Oh, somebody in the public wants to speak.
oh, please, you come on up to
Yeah,
the
the
mic and,
motion is-
yeah, motion to suspend our rules and ask members of the public to speak.
So moved.
And Donnie, the microphone is on the outside there, yeah.
Push up.
So,
And your name and address, please?
Donald Welch, Arbor Way, Holyoke, current retiree. Kind of confused with this order about the half pay. I don't know if they're looking to eliminate it or to fund it, or maybe even some guidelines, or if that could be explained. I mean, are you looking to
Yeah.
eliminate it or not?
I was just asked to file an order, and I did that, and, in fact, I did it twice, because the first person that asked me, I knew that it was gonna be that much expensive, so I gave it leave to withdraw. And then other people asked me about it again, so I filed it again, and this is where we're at right now. So again, I don't know if it's a doable thing or not until we file a new order, have the retirement board get the information as to how many people does it affect. Is there still those positions out there, like Cheryl said, with the cafeteria worker? So that's kind of where we are. This is more, I think, informational, and that's certainly what we found out, but we need to go a little deeper for the people that are looking to see if they qualify for it. And if the city, the city council says yes or no.
Okay.
Does
Thank
that make sense to you?
Yeah, so nothing's going to happen right away.
No,
Until
no,
you get
No,
the
right,
information.
right, right.
It's not going to affect me,
right,
but it will affect, other retirees. But anyways, okay, I'm fine with that. Thank you.
okay, all right. Anybody else? Michael? Just Michael.
Good evening, Mike Higgins. I spent 35 years,
Address if you.
oh, I'm sorry, Breton Lane in Holyoke.
Thank
I
you.
spent 35 years working for the fine police department in Holyoke, enjoyed every day of it. It's a wonderful job. My problem is, I'm not quite understanding what you guys are saying. You do realize that this is now in whatever, law, ordinance, or anything like that, in Holyoke. It was passed in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
Like Jimmy Shea was the clerk at the time. And, as years went on, when you're a new person, you really don't pay attention to this stuff. But as you get closer to your retirement date, and there's talk of contracts and percentages and all that, well, I always knew I had in my pocket that 50% I could never go below. If you're now talking about not giving it to people, how can we do that?
well, I think it's, go ahead if you want to answer.
Yeah, I don't think we're
That's,
saying we're eliminating that at all. It's just part of the discussion. We're not making any votes on, we're not voting on that at all. We're just discussing it.
And we're looking for more information.
Information on it, right, so that we can.
It
all-
was just, when I was first speaking, I thought we were talking about, accepting it or putting it in. I said,
Right, no.
We've
no,
already
I-
we've had this for years.
Mike, I am serious about my money as well, so, and I know a man in your position, of course you would be here with these concerns, and I'm there with you. So the city council would never, I'd like to say, the city council would never do something to hurt its people.
We just don't have all the information,
Right,
Mike, that
that's
we
it.
need to make a decision. And like I said, it is a catch-22. We've had the mayor come in and to talk up to the retirement board about making some changes there. And then this is also something that will affect things. Bless you. So that's where we're at right now. It's just waiting for some information. I'll file a new order and go over it with Tony so the wording is right, and then I'll let you know when we bring it back up in finance,
Okay, thank you.
okay?
You're welcome.
Mike Sullivan?
Yeah, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong on this, maybe this will make it a little clearer. It doesn't affect anybody at all that's already had an increase or, participating.
Yeah,
You,
With the increase, if they're below 50%.
percent.
But it's not
Is your mic,
done, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, please.
I thought I was done.
No, you're,
It's not, it's not automatic, is what I'm saying. You have
Right.
to approve it every time you do it. It just doesn't, oh, he's below 50%, let's bump him up. That's not the way the law is written.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
right, and it hasn't been done since 2008.
Right, yeah.
All right, so this would, all it would do is
Put a
bring it up
new
to
batch of-
what's happened in the last 8
Put a-
years as far as.
Put a new batch of people in front of you.
Right, so,
You look for anybody who's got 25 years or more,
More.
right,
and whether or not they had it in 2008, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Below it.
If they're below 50%, they would get it.
right.
Okay.
So in short, it'd just be for a new batch of people, not anybody already getting anything. There'd be no cut, there's no cuts or any contemplation of anything like that. Right, okay.
Okay. Any other questions, or, I see we also have Counselor Israel Rivera online. He's not, doesn't have his hand up or anything, I'm just acknowledging that he's there. All right, so we did table that, and I'll get in touch with you, Tony, next week,
Yeah.
and we can come up with the correct wording
Yeah,
for an
I'll look-
order.
I'll talk with Brenna, and we'll get an old order that was made back in '08.
Oh, okay.
and we can check that.
It won't go on this next city council
No.
meeting, it's too soon. But yeah, whatever you can
Yeah.
give me and give this committee will be very beneficial,
Okay,
okay?
no problem.
All right. Joe, did you have anything you want to say? So quiet. No.
your mic,
Ron?
sorry.
As you know, the employees and the retirees always paid their due. The city in the past didn't. So it's not the retirees or the employees' fault that we're in this position.
Okay. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I appreciate the visitors as well.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
John.
Thank you,
Nice to
John.
meet you.
You as well.
Okay. And before I forget, I want to make a motion to take up the minutes, and if there's any problems with them.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So we're going to go back to, okay,
Did everybody have any questions about the meeting minutes? Everyone's okay?
yeah. Okay. I just want to, okay, we'll do the Sergeant and Chief, you're only here for one item? Two, I've got,
3 and 4, I think.
okay, I got four.
Motion to take up item 3 and 4 out of order.
Second,
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the first one is you can come in and sit down if you'd like. It was ordered on 2/3/26 by Divine, ordered that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2026, $350,000 as follows. To pay patrol officers $250,000, to pay E911, this is from, dispatchers $100,000 for a total of $350,000, and that's to pay overtime $350,000. So maybe take it off the table for discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Chief, why don't you go ahead with that one, and then we'll go to item 4 after this.
Sure, Counselors. We're requesting to move $250,000 from patrol and $100,000 from dispatchers for $350,000 overtime. Currently, I have $52,000 left in my overtime account. The $350 will bring my overtime the fiscal year's overtime to 900,000. I don't anticipate using all of those funds. The last 3 years, the overtime was around 1.1 million. This year, I'm expecting to finish in the 800s, which will be a savings somewhere around between $300,000 and $400,000 off the overtime. So we need it for a cushion to get us through the remainder of the year. But we've had a very, very good year with being great stewards of the overtime fund.
Yeah, you have. Questions, committee?
I do not, I think he's been doing a fantastic job,
Yeah.
so there's
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the transfer?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so item number 4, on 2/3/26, ordered by Divine, that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2026, $1,000 as follows. From pay patrol officers, $1,000, to pay stipends, $1,000. Move we take it off the table for discussion?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Sure.
Okay,
The collective bargaining agreement with the Police Patrolmen's Union requires that the senior officer in the Records Division who's working in the capacity of a supervisor receive a $1,000 stipend. So that's to cover that, but I don't see it happening going forward. As part of the realignment, we recently made the supervision of records under a lieutenant, so it'll be just part of his duties, which will save the $1,000 stipend being paid.
okay.
I
Anybody
don't know,
else?
the $1,000, I don't think we can cut that, that's a joke. We just approved, running.
I think we got it.
Yeah, really.
It's a joke, we are trying to lighten up the room, guys.
Motion to approve the transfer?
So moved,
All
second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, terrific, thank you.
Thank you,
I
Councilors.
think you guys are done, yeah.
We are, thank you.
That was easy.
So,
Okay, and do we see engineer anywhere?
Motion to take up item 2?
So, second.
Okay, item number 2, the auditor is here. Ordered that there be and here, this is from Divine, ordered that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2026, $13 million, right? $421,739. That's from transfer from health insurance trust to transfer to health insurance trust. $13,421,739. And the auditor is here. Sharon, you want to share, motion, we take this off the table for
So moved.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Sharon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, councilors. So this is pretty straightforward. It was really just a matter of the budget being entered into the wrong line. When we created, or when the city went to self-funded insurance, we created all new expense lines and budget lines in our software. And this appropriation for the health insurance expense was just accidentally put in the wrong line. And because it was actually wrong in the budget book, the council voted on the wrong line. So I needed to bring it to you for approval before I transferred it into the correct line. It's really just moving it into the correct line. That's all it is.
Yeah, seems pretty easy. Any questions, though?
No.
No? Okay, do I hear a motion to,
Motion to approve the transfer?
all those in favor? Aye. That was it. Thank you, Sharon. That should take care of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay, that's done. All right, the engineer here? This one is for, okay, I've got DPW and engineer on item number 6. So and then we have item number 7. So I make a motion that we take up item number 6. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this one is ordered that in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accepts the provisions of the Executive Office of the Housing and Economic Development One-Stop $265,000 no-match grant and authorizes the establishment of a fund and other method appropriate for the accounting of the receipts and expenditures. And Mike Gallagher is here tonight, and if he would like to talk about this. I don't see anybody online. with you, you're on your own.
Yeah,
Getting used to this, huh?
yeah, I mean, it's more work on our sewer systems, and this, the short story with it is, there's gonna be for consultant work, they'll be cammering and surveying and, doing evaluation of sewer, in the various locations, through the city, and have put together a bid package for construction upgrades. And this particular grant targets multiple locations where there's future development and ongoing development happening. And of course, it will help the system overall. It'll help the sewer system for the entire areas that they work on. And I did bring I did print out the, basically the summary if the committee would like to
Yeah,
enter
and
into the
Jeffrey
record.
Jeffrey can make us copies of that for the whole city council for Tuesday. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Okay.
See,
Did you want to see it now, or is it? Okay.
it's like every bit of
thank you.
help we can get with our sewer system,
Yeah.
I think we need to take.
Yeah. And there's no match,
No match.
so this is good. Do I have any other questions or anything of anybody? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
The grant? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Mike, thank you for this, and I will get this, Jeffrey will get this to the city councilors so they can see that, okay? And then we have another one,
Number 5.
item 7. I know, but item 7 is divine ordered that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2026, $50,000 as follows. Management service contract, $50,000, to professional services other, $50,000.
Motion to take up item number 7, even though you already said it.
I know. We
All
can-
those- you want me to do it? Can I get a second?
Is there a second to that?
Aye.
What is,
Built into the new wastewater contract with Veolia is language for money out of this contract to be used for basically somebody that's going to make sure that all the elements of this contract are complied with.
yeah, we need that.
And this is what we haven't had anyone in place yet,
Right.
and it's time for us to get this done.
Okay. Any other questions of Mike? This is, you were certainly a big help, Mike Sullivan, in getting that Viola contract in place. So this,
No, this is perfect timing. I mean, Veolia's gone through some changes the last few months. There's nobody really monitoring their deliverables on it, and it's a huge opportunity for a bunch of economic drivers and development in the city. So,
okay.
yeah.
Any other questions, or do I hear a motion?
The mayor-
Oh, the mayor, you have a?
And yes, that's all true. Just so you understand what's the request that's in front of you, it's to move. So we've negotiated in that contract for Veolia to contract manage a person to do that. And
Third
so,
party?
right, the $50,000 is to transfer from that line dedicated to Veolia to a contracted services line. I
Yeah.
don't know how it reads in front of you.
Yeah, it says professional services.
Professional
Yeah.
services on the city side or
Right.
the sewer enterprise side, so that we can procure the contractor and have it under our pay for and our oversight and management control, and not under Veolia. We've already negotiated or signed an MOU with Veolia reducing their contract between us and them, the city and them, so that we can reduce that line $50,000, well, that dollar amount
Yeah,
over to a city professional services line, so that we can go forward and get that person instead of Veolia doing it. So
okay.
that's what that is.
Got it.
Motion?
Motion to approve the transfer?
All those
Second.
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
there's one more that I'm not, it's for, I'll read it, but I don't see an engineer here, so I'm not sure unless that's something Mike Gallagher can help us with. So this was on item 5, on 2/3/26.
The
What?
new motion to take it off the table.
Okay, make a motion to take up
Item number 5
Thank
off
you.
of discussion, off the table.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On 2/3/26, Divine ordered that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in fiscal year 2026, $54,000 as follows. From pay senior civil engineer, $54,000, to professional engineering, $54,000. We are taking it off the table for discussion. Mike, can you? I think I know what this is, but I don't want to assume, so.
This is the, most of this is, would be towards the engineering services we've been getting through Wicked
Through
Wool
Victoria?
Construction, Consulting Victoria,
Yeah.
we have not found a senior civil engineer candidate that we can hire to this date. To my knowledge, we've only had 2 candidates, and there are various issues where we're unable to hire them.
Yeah.
And so as a result, we continue to rely on more engineering services.
I will tell you, she is terrific. We get a lot of information from her, and she does a lot of work. She really does.
She's doing a good job.
So I can understand that salary.
So,
Question?
and, well, I want to make sure, Mike, do you have any questions? No?
Yeah.
So then, I'm going to make a motion after you speak.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, Sharon, did you have anything you want to add? I just noticed your hand's not up, but you're on the screen, so.
No, Mike
Okay.
reached out and confirmed that there was enough money in the civil engineer line to transfer over, and he said they didn't have any viable candidates, so we moved it forward to you.
Great. Okay.
Motion to approve the transfer?
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Did it?
Okay.
I didn't hear a second. Second, okay.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And there's one more thing that we have to say.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh,
There's a
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for your participation, and everybody's been very, very helpful. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Good night.